Hello, everyone. Welcome to the TEA Grant Application webinar. My name is Yolanda Park, and I am the lead for the TEA Grant program. This webinar is pre-recorded, so we can just jump right in, and both the recording and the slides will be made available online. In this webinar, we'll give a general overview of the application process for the Local Government Waste Tire Enforcement, or TEA for short, grant program. More in-depth details and requirements can be found in the application guidelines and instructions found on the TEA grants page. As this is an overview of applying for the grant, we will not be covering everything in the guidelines and instructions. So I strongly recommend reading the application guidelines and instructions thoroughly for the information provided in this webinar, as well as additional topics not covered. You'll also want to thoroughly review the procedures and requirements for guidance on administration of the grant if awarded. This is the timeline for the TEA29 grant cycle. Applications must be submitted in the Grant Management Systems, or GMS for short, by 11:59 p.m. on January 13th, 2022. The secondary due date is by when the approved resolution must be uploaded to GMS if it was not submitted with the application on the first time around. We'll go over the resolution in more detail a little bit later. Grants will be awarded sometime in April, and then the grant term is from June 30th, 2022 to September 20th, 2023. Do you wonder why the grant term dates are like this? Allow me a moment to explain. Using TEA29 as an example, the TEA process actually begins in 2021, in which funds are allocated for TEA and the grant application opens. Then in 2022, grants are awarded and the grant term starts June 30th, which is the day before the typical fiscal year begins, which is July 1st. So even though the grant is carried out in 2022, 2023, the process actually began in 2021 and the start date is in 2022. Hopefully that clears it up a bit. The milestones of the grant year can be found in the procedures and requirements. So please do look at that. $6,050,000 is available for this grant cycle, which is fiscal year 2021-2022. Applicants can request the maximum award allowed for their qualifying populations. Note that if the total grant requests received exceed what's available, then the award amounts will be adjusted to make sure the amount going out does not exceed what's actually available. In order to start an application, you'll need to have a CalRecycle WebPass account. The link to create one is provided on this slide. Once you have your WebPass, you can start the application process. You'll log into GMS, you'll apply for the grant, which you can see on the left-hand side once you're in GMS. Find the Local Government Waste Tire Enforcement Grant Program, TEA29, fiscal year 2021-22, and then start application. A pop-up window will appear asking for contact information. If you have an existing GMS account, the information may be automatically populated. GMS will also automatically add you as the primary contact for the new grant application. However, you may need to update this later, and then click Save. There are different parts to the application that need to be completed, and these are called tabs. Click on and complete each tab as required. We'll briefly go over each one, and as always, more information on what's needed to fill out the tabs is found in the guidelines and instructions. The Summary tab provides a summary of the application, the due dates, resource documents and links, application documents, and the application submission section. You can see on the screen here that this is what the summary landing page looks like. In the Applicant tab is where you'll put in the legal name of the entity that is legally responsible for fiscal management and grant administration if awarded. So first click on the Add Applicant/Participant tab or button, and then you'll get to a page where you will type in the applicant name and county. Do not enter your personal name. Again, this is the legal responsible entity for the grant. Then you'll search for the table that pops up after you click search on the previous part, which let me go back real quick. So on this part here, after you enter in the name and county, you'll click search. And a table will open up in which you will find your correct applicant name, and you'll select add applicant / participant. Choose the lead participant radio button and then click save. Remember, every application must have a lead participant, even if it is an individual application with no participating jurisdictions. If the participant list does not contain your applicant / participant name, then first click on Add New Applicant Participant, enter the applicant participant name as it appears on the resolution, complete all the required fields, and then click Save. There are 6 steps to completing the Detail tab portion. You'll enter in the dollar amount in the grant funds requested field. Remember to not exceed the maximum grant award amount. Round all the monies to the nearest whole dollar and do not use commas. Then enter the California Assembly Districts and Senate District. Enter the applicant's department name, and if it's not applicable, enter the applicant's name. Enter the grant payment mailing address, and then enter the project summary and statement of use, which is basically a brief summary of how the grant funds will be spent and how these funds will help your efforts. Select the appropriate option for the resolution requirement and optional letter of designation. The Contacts tab needs to have the primary contact and at least one signature authority. They can also be the same person, meaning you can have a primary contact who is also the signature authority. You may notice that a valid email is required now for the signature authority. In the past, it wasn't. I'm not exactly sure when this change happened, but now that we're moving to e-signatures, we need to make sure that we can verify who the signature authority is when documents are signed. If for whatever reason the primary cannot be reached, having a secondary contact is very helpful. A consultant is a professional who provides expert advice. It's not required to have one. Typically, only those who have some role in administration of the grant are added to the Contacts tab. Next is the Budget tab. Complete the budget document provided in GMS, and then transfer the total of each budget category, for example, the budgeted amount for administration, to the category on the Budget tab. Upload the budget document to the Documents tab. Ensure the budget amounts on the budget document match the amounts in the Budget tab. The total must equal the grant funds requested amount shown on the Detail tab. Now, the Documents tab is where all the paperwork goes. See the Application Documents section on the Summary tab for documents that must be uploaded. When you're uploading a document, click Add Document. Enter a descriptive document title. Select the appropriate document type from the drop-down list, then enter the date it was executed or signed, if applicable, or select today's date. On the right hand, you can see the red check marks. These indicate the corresponding documents that have not been uploaded. Once a document that matches the requirement is uploaded, for example, the staff roster, the red check mark will change to green. Once all the required documents have been uploaded, the Submit Application button located in the Summary tab will be clickable. The application can only be submitted once. The following can be uploaded until the secondary due date: the resolution, the letter of designation, and letters of permission. Remember, submit the application no later than 11:59 p.m. on January 13th, 2022. Customer service is available until 4 p.m. on the application due date. The email and phone number are provided in case you need it. Please note that applications not submitted by the due date will be deleted from GMS. Please also note that being able to submit the application does not guarantee completeness. Please ensure the application package is completed as indicated in the guidelines and instructions. Going over a little bit the electronic and original signatures. CalRecycle allows for certified e-signature or the original wet signature on documents or forms that certify legally binding information. Please note that e-signatures must include the first and last name of the signature authority. It must be in Adobe Digital ID format. It cannot be completed using the fill and sign function within Adobe. Any documents using fill and sign is considered incomplete and may be sent back to the applicant. Once signed by the signature authority, you must scan the wet signature or upload the digitally signed document and save it to GMS. Please remember to retain the original document for potential CalRecycle audits. Please also note that if awarded, wet signatures will not be accepted on grant agreement. CalRecycle documents are on the Summary tab in the Application Documents section. To access the document, click on the link, download it to your computer, enter all required information, save it to your computer, and then rename the document and upload it to the Documents tab. For document support, email grantassistance@calrecycle.ca.gov or phone Natalie Gandolfo at 916-341-6809. The application, certification, budget, and TEA staff roster are the list of documents that are required. Please do not alter CalRecycle documents unless a document specifies that it may be reproduced as necessary. Altered or reproduced CalRecycle documents or templates may result in automatic disqualification of your application. The application certification is an application document that must be generated from GMS. After you have completed each tab of the application and uploaded the required documents, print the application certification from the Summary tab. Sign and scan, and then upload the signed application certification to the Documents tab. Looking at the budget, applicants are required to submit a budget. Complete the budget document available for download in the Summary tab of the Grant Management System. The completed budget document must be uploaded in GMS to the Documents tab. Do not convert the Excel budget document into another format. It must be uploaded as Excel. The budget amounts entered into the budget document must match the values entered in GMS on the Budget tab. The total requested in the budget document must equal the amount of grant funds requested in GMS on the Detail tab. A description is to be provided for each budget line item included. Applicants are to follow the instructions for this requirement provided on the budget document. Line item descriptions must be detailed, specific, and enable reviewers to understand the appropriateness of the amounts budgeted and the intended purpose of the budgeted funds. The TEA staff roster form is available for download from the Summary tab in GMS. Anyone who participates in the grant, no matter their role, should be entered into the form. Then the completed form must be uploaded in GMS to the Documents tab. Here's the list of documents that the applicant is responsible for in preparing and uploading to their application. One is the resolution. Any applicant that is subject to a governing body must upload a resolution that authorizes specific grant-related matters, and a copy is required. It must be uploaded no later than the secondary due date, which is February 17th, 2022, or CalRecycle will deem the application incomplete and disqualify the application. Resolution requirements vary for individual applications and joint applications, and templates can be found at the link provided on the screen. CalRecycle staff are available to answer questions or review your draft resolution. You may upload the resolution as a draft, or for immediate review, email it to grantassistance@calrecycle.ca.gov. For more information about the resolution requirements and about joint application resolution requirements, see the application guidelines and instructions. The letters of designation, or LOD for short, is required only when the signature authority identified in the approved resolution chooses to delegate their signature authority to another person. Approved resolutions must indicate the signature authority's ability to delegate or designate their authority. The applicant must upload the LOD prior to the designee's exercise of their authority. If the designee signs an application document in place of the signature authority, the applicant must upload the LOD with their application, and templates can be found at the link provided on the screen. Again, for more information, please see the application guidelines and instructions. The letter of permission is required when a jurisdiction applies jointly with a different county or with the city in a different county. Letter of permission templates can be found at the link provided on the screen. And as always, check out the application guidelines and instructions for more information. We have a couple new changes to this cycle. One is that an indirect cost allocation plan, or CAP or CAP, is due at the time of application. First, let me go over what indirect costs are. Indirect costs are the costs or expenses you have that don't directly address the work you are contracted to do, but are necessary to support the work. For example, an indirect cost could be rent of an office space versus a direct cost like buying boots that inspectors will wear. An indirect cost allocation plan is how your agency plans to charge those indirect costs based on the percentage of your use for the grant. So going back to the example of renting space, let's say, for example, your department shares office space with another department who has nothing to do with your grant. Both your department and the other one pay rent for the office space, but of course you're not paying full price because you're sharing the cost. Of the percentage that you pay, let's say 30% is used for tea. That 30%, which is a portion of the total amount of rent you pay that is used for tea, could be charged to indirect. Having a plan of how your agency or department plans to charge indirect costs helps grant managers to verify indirect cost reimbursement requests. It also allows audits to verify costs as well. The budget document has also been given an update. A description is to be provided for each budget line item included. Line item descriptions must be detailed, specific, and enable reviewers to understand what it is that you are asking for. And this helps us to match up and verify costs. Fields and cells in which the grantee should not modify have been locked. If you need rows added, please email me, the T lead, at yolanda.park@calrecycle.ca.gov with your budget document and specify the number of rows needed. For technical assistance and support, you can always contact the grant manager for budget, grant-related questions, and reimbursement-related questions. You can also contact the CalRecycle Inspector Liaisons at the link provided on the screen for inspections and enforcement-related questions. Here are a list of web links that may be useful for you, including the TEA homepage, tire enforcement homepage, the Enforcement Grantee Toolbox, General Forms, Surveillance/CalRecycle Referrals, and Grant Management System, including self-help videos. This is our contact information. Again, my name is Yolanda Park, and I am the TEA Grant Program Lead. You can call me at 916-341-6108 or email me at yolanda.park@calrecycle.ca.gov. The CalRecycle Inspector Liaisons can be contacted at the webpage provided on this page. Thank you very much for attending this application general overview webinar.